So here's just the base picture of how in our defense you would get lined up. So of course we come out of a 4-down front with 3 linebackers. So you see we got our corners outside on the number 1 wide receivers. Our nickel, depending on the split or depending on how we're playing, he could be apex in between these two, or he could line up outside depending on the coverage. Showing a 2-high shell with our safeties and our linebackers lining up off the D lineman. So here how we're just going to define the coverage. So in our cover 3, you got to have an understanding of the coverage is vital to the success of the progression. Cover 3 in our system is a vision coverage. So what I mean by vision coverage is we have to see the quarterback. We have to get our information from the quarterback. And especially at corner, I don't ever want to handicap our defense to think that we're playing with 9 players. And what I mean by playing with 9 players is if my corners are turning and man turning instead of zone turning, and it's a run, they're running my corners off and we're playing with 9 defenders on the field. So just the base picture of it is we're going to play with 4 underneath defenders. The underneath coverage is mirrored. You got 1 curl flat to each side. You got 1 hook curl defender to each side. And then you got 2 hook curls to each side. In our 3 deep defenders, in a corner, we're playing our true divider third, which I'll go over this and more, but we play an overlap or a 60-40 third with our corners, and we're heavy on 1 if there's only 1 skilled receiver to our side. So here, just going over the corner responsibility right here. So now, 60-40 midpoint. So some people call it 60-40, which means if I get 2 verticals, I have to lean on the number 2 vertical 60% and be on the number 1 receiver 40%. If it's midpoint, some people call it as midpoint. But even if it's midpoint, I still need to be lean more to 2 than 1 so I can overlap the seam. Run responsibility. So this is our number 1 rule, outside arm and leg free. So nothing can get outside of us. We have to turn everything back into the defense when it comes down to a run in the perimeter. Our pass responsibility. So we're playing what we call our deep third. So picture we have a field. I'm here and I'm here. Our corners we know are playing our outside third. Our safety, whether it's the free safety or our cover safety, is handled in the middle of the field. We got to have enough depth to be able to overlap the seam and play the vertical of 1. So by that means we start off when our base alignment is 1-by-7. But by the time the ball is snapped, I need to have enough depth that I can overlap if I have 2 verticals, 60% on the number 2, 40% on the number 1. And our number 1 thing that I tell my corners in this is the only thing I'm asking you to defend is the post streak and the post corner. Let your underneath players do their job while you do yours. So here's just a picture of it as a visual. So like I said earlier, it's a vision coverage. So as you can see, my corner, you need to get all your information from here. He's going to tell you what you need to do. So this is right here with these 2 receivers. Now, game plan wise, depending on split, depending on variations, formation tendencies, we'll adapt it off of that. But just this base picture right now, we'll show right here 1-by-7. By the time the ball is snapped, we need to get out and have enough depth that we can midpoint both of these. No understanding. So picture there was a line right here, or this is the hash. So this is the safety's zone of the field. This is mine. I have to handle my third. So here's just a couple drills of how we would work it through Indy. So going off this, you can see, so they're getting their 3 or 5 step read off me. So when you get a 5-step drop, I'm making sure these guys get used to zone turning. So when you see my hands right here, when you see me turn these guys out, that's picturing that, hey, number 2 has eliminated himself. Now I can lean heavy on 1. So like I was saying earlier, I prefer my corners to stay with zone eyes and zone turns. So if this 2 eliminates itself and I already know I have enough depth over 1, why would I just turn and man turn it when I can see the ball? If this ends up being a vertical pass thrown by this quarterback, I have the same right to the ball as the receiver does. So I want to go attack the ball and go get it. So right here, I'm giving them a 5-step read. They get their initial on-snap footwork. Clearing quick game, then we go to our crossover run. Once I point them out, that's visualizing 2 as eliminating himself. Now we're zone turning, keeping our eyes back. Same shot. So now, if you would ask, why are these guys moving? So sometimes we'll start showing off right here, but by the time the ball is snapped, I got to make sure I have enough depth to get where I need to go. So you get some guys who are comfortable doing it right from 7. You get some who need to move a little bit farther back to get there. So that's where I allow them the freedom to, hey, by the time the ball is snapped, whatever you need to do to get to your job, that's what you need to do. So same one right here, you can't see me in the picture, but I'm giving them the 5. As you see, I'm pointing them out. That means 2 has eliminated himself. I got to get back over the top of 1. Same picture right here. So now, what I don't like about this one is he takes his eyes off me too quick. So at the end of the day, you need to still be having your eyes on the quarterback because you don't know, this could end up being a run. This could end up being a check down. And in our zone coverage, we want 11 hats to the ball once the ball is thrown. Same thing again right here. Now, so in this picture, you can't see me, but anytime you see these dudes overlapping right here, so if I'm running this indie drill, I would be right here. I would give my 5-step drop. If you see me holding him right here, that means you got to overlap the seam. So as you see in this picture, these guys are now simulating that. Now the ball is thrown here. I'm overlapping this seam. So picture this line right here is my number 2 receiver. I'm overlapping the seam. Now, so biggest thing with cover 3, especially in our defense, I want the guys to be able to understand what they have to do and how certain routes and route combinations can affect us. So you'll see I'll give them live bodies and different looks of how do we still need to play our third depending on what routes we get. So as you'll see right here, I got 2 verticals. So this is just the old school tradition, midpoint or 60-40 as some people may call it. So I'm right here, I'm getting my depth on 1x7, I clear my quick game, now I'm getting into the 60-40. So that's just understanding where all my help is. So just off teaching purposes, if this is my hash right here, my corner knows that this is his third. With the ball right here, the safety would have this third. So he understands I have to know what can affect me in my third, what can affect me, what can I chase, what do I need to defend. Okay, same right here. So now, say they give us a switch vert concept. A lot of teams will do this, but at the end of the day, you still have to understand, I still have to get to the midpoint of these routes. So if my corner runs and plays way too heavy on this number 2, then you're exposing yourself and leaving this number 1 wide open. So as these dudes are getting to this switch release, I still got to understand I have to midpoint both of these. While still, look, he's good. He feels 2 is hugging that hash, because one thing our safeties we do with them is you're enforcers. So anything 2 yards off of this hash, you either need to intercept it or cause a big collision. So right here, if he feels this dude is close enough to this hash, he understands that safety will play this. Now, I got to get back over the top of this 1. Now, so next responsibility. So in our defense, our corners, most of them can play nickel, most of them can play safety. So the reason they have to understand this is because they could essentially be our curl flat dropper in the defense. So first things first, what is their run responsibility? So the run gap responsibility is fit outside of number 2. So if we get run to him, I have to fight, and same thing similar to corner, I have to keep my outside arm and leg free and be able to turn this back into the defense. If my number 2 is in the backfield, I'm taking the first available gap, and I have to remember I'm the edge of the defense. So by edge of the defense, I'm a force player. I have to turn it back into the defense. My pass responsibility, I'm 12 yards top of the numbers. So we play old school landmark drops. So I'm dropping to a landmark. But my number 1 thing I have to do is I got to eliminate the vertical in number 2. And what I mean by that is help my corner out and give them a reroute. Get those 2 verts on different levels so the corner isn't stressed out and you're messing up the timing of the routes for the quarterback. So eliminate the vertical number 2. The next one is hold the curl of number 1 until the shoulders of the quarterback bring you down to the flat. So pretty much all that's saying is with our curl flat players, we're playing high to low. So I want you to help this corner eliminate anything 12 to 15 yards deep while I'm pushing to the numbers. And once those shoulders cross my face, then I can come down, rally to the ball, play the check down. And then we're also responsible for the wheel of 3. So say 3, the running back wheels out the backfield, I have to take that because my corner is playing true old school landmark third. We don't play match, we play old school cover 3. So here's a visual of that picture for you. So now understanding right here, what's my responsibility? Same thing right here. I'm getting my vision from where? The quarterback. Now, depending on where this back is set up will depend on how he plays. If this back is to me, I can line up more head up on this receiver, understanding that the run isn't going to be able to get to me as quick. And it makes my job easier. I'm getting this reroute on this number 2 receiver. Now, say this back is off to the other side. I have to understand now it might be harder for me to get in this run fit. So now I have to tuck inside. Apex means splitting the tackle and this number 2 receiver and understanding that run can get to me. But by tucking inside, I can't get dug out by this guy. I have to still, if I have to make the play and go in there and shoot my shot, yes, I can shoot it. I don't want to turn you into a robot, but you can't get pinned. So say you have a problem reading this RPO or it's something slower and it's getting to you. If I'm not sure that I can go in there and fit it, then I'm going to have to fight back outside of this number 2 because I'm still the edge of our defense. Now, pass responsibility rise, right? So right here, say this picture with him right here, this back is right here. I know I have to reroute number 2. So similar to what I picture my corner is right here, still 1-by-7. I want him to make this number 2 receiver be on a different route than this number 1 if they give us 2 verticals. So then it's easier for my corner to do his job. So while doing that, after I get my reroute, he knows I have to push to my landmark. So his landmark is going to be 12 yards to these numbers. So he understands I'm going to keep pushing until something brings me down.